Thank God this is the last losing video I have to do until September. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Steelburgh. And like I said in the intro, this is indeed the last post-game review of the season because the Steelers will play no more games this season. The Steelers have been eliminated from the playoffs. Not like we didn't expect this to happen, but we're out very, very soon, as we have been the past 5-6 years, whatever it is. 2016 remains the last time the Steelers have won a playoff game, and it will continue until at least the 2025-2026 season as the Steelers lose to the Baltimore Ravens 28-14 in the wildcard game, and I am so sad. I'm sad, but I'm also thankful that this is the last losing video I'll have to do this season. It's the last video I'll be doing a post game. This game was just a mess in every way, shape, or form. You can sum this up by the one sentence that commentator Herb Herbstreit, I'm not entirely sure how you say his first name, but he said it during the second quarter of the game, or the beginning of the second quarter, after the Ravens had gone up 21-0. He said, if I'm a Steelers fan, what worries me most is that there's no fight. There's no effort being shown here, and that was the most damning thing that happened in this game. The Steelers just didn't care. There was no will to win. After the Ravens scored their first 2 touchdowns, there was no fight. There was no effort. There was no grittiness. They said on the Fan yesterday that in the past Steelers-Baltimore games, if you lost, at least you took a good chunk out of them, right? At least you tired them out. And if they lost next week, you could say, wow, maybe they were tired from their win against the Steelers. It was a close game. Steelers lost, but at least they took a chunk out of the Ravens. And they just didn't this time. I have no excuses. I have no reasoning of why, except the fact that the Steelers were just not a good team in this game. And honestly, for the better half of this season, the Steelers just collapsed. Like, you lose, 6 games in a row? Yeah, because you got the Eagles, then the Ravens, then the Chiefs, then the Bengals, then the Braves. Okay, so 5 games in a row. You drop 5 at the end of the season to go from 10-3 to 10-7 to end the year, and then lose the wild card. So 10-8 season. It's pathetic. It really is. And it comes down to coaching. It comes down to a culture issue. And both those things stem from the top and stem from Mike Tomlin. And I could make a full video, and I probably will make a full video about Mike Tomlin later in the year. But this video isn't about just Mike Tomlin. I will discuss what he did in this game, but I'm not going to go into the full details of should he stay, should he go. At the end of the day, he's staying for one more year. And we lose this game. And it's honestly, it's really, really sad. Russell Wilson went 20 for 29 for 270 yards and 2 touchdowns. Most of that in garbage time. I mean, the Van Jefferson catch in the back of the end zone and the George Pickens touchdown pass. We were down 21-0 at that point. And then 28-7 by the time we scored the second one. There was never a point in this game where it looked like the Steelers were going to come back and make a push. A lot of times we've seen the Ravens kind of collapse their lead a little bit, and then the other team comes back and almost wins. You saw it in the Dallas game, right? You saw it in I can't think of another game on top of my head. But there's been a couple games this season where the Ravens have come to a big lead and then kind of reduced that. I think in the Chargers game against them, they did that. They ended up winning both of those games, but still that lead was diminished. And a couple of their losses were in that sense. This game wasn't like that. There was never a time in this game where I thought the Steelers had a chance to come back. Once they were down 21-0, their fight was gone. I mean, you go into halftime with no points on the board. There was a crazy stat in the game where the Ravens had more touchdowns than the Steelers had first downs. The Steelers had 2 first downs. The Ravens had 3 touchdowns. That's just not it's just bad. And there's not really one thing you can point to because receivers weren't giving effort. They weren't coming back to the quarterback when Russ scrambled. The offensive line wasn't great, although they held up better than I thought they would against the Ravens D-line. Wilson just held onto the ball for too long. He had a couple sacks that were in that kind of range where he held onto the ball too long. Play call was abysmal. Coaching was bad. Like, you got to take some risks. If you're 4th and inches at your 40-yard line, down 2 scores, you got to go for that. Like, you know your defense has been crumpling to Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson all game. You got to keep the ball in the hands of your offense as long as you possibly can. Go for it on 4th and inches. So there was just certain scenarios where, honestly, the defense or the coaching was just horrible. And offensively, we couldn't get anything going. I mean, the rushing game was just atrocious, but that's honestly because how could we have a rushing game if we're down 3 scores most of the game? Najee, only 6 carries. 6 carries they gave him for 17 yards. He averaged 2.8 a carry. Russell Wilson ran 3 times for 6 yards, and Jalen Warren 2 for 6. We ran the ball 11 times. In the entire game, we ran the ball only 11 times, and 3 of them were broken play scrambles by Russell Wilson. It's not like we're calling QB draws with Russell Wilson. That means that we only had 8 plays in the entire game that were called running plays. 8 plays in the entire game called running plays. That is what happens when you get down big late. Receiving game, I mean, it was better, but again, it's in garbage time. Pickens, 5 for 87 and a touchdown. How much of that came on that garbage time touchdown catch? That was nice, but we were down 28-7 at that point. Najee Harris, 3 for 41. Okay, he caught some out of the backfield. Van Jefferson, 2 for 37. Again, how many was on that long touchdown pass? Otherwise, he probably has 1 for, 15? Calvin Austin only had 1 catch for 25 yards. Mike Williams had 1 for 37. That was actually a really nice grab by him. Jalen Warren, 4 for 19. Pat Bryant, 3 for 15. Like, it's just not good. The offensive production just was not there. If you look at the attempted throws, 29 passes and 8 runs, that's only 37 plays. Now, compare that to the Ravens, where Lamar Jackson threw the ball 21 times, and they ran over 40. I didn't even realize. They ran more. The Ravens ran more times than the Steelers had total plays. That is crazy. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson combined for 41 running plays. The Steelers had 37 total offensive plays. And that's not even counting the 6 runs from Hill, 2 from Andrews, and the 1 from Sims. That is crazy. I didn't realize that. I'm just looking at the stats right now. Lamar Jackson didn't have to do much through the air to destroy us. 16 for 21 for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry was the reason. I mean, I'm just in shock right now. I did not look at these stats before this video. This is my live reaction to seeing these. He had 26 carries for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. Did he catch any? No, he didn't. Okay. Derrick Henry put up 30 fantasy points against the Steelers in a playoff game. I know fantasy's not around in the playoffs, but 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. 7.2 a carry was Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson, 15 for 81, 5.4 a carry. I mean, I'm not surprised. They had an entire drive where all they would do is just fake the handoff to Henry, and Lamar Jackson would run it. They did it like 5 plays in a row, and the Steelers could not stop it. It was the most crazy thing. There was probably 3 or 4 plays in a row where TJ Watt would come in, crush Derrick Henry or Justice Hill, and then Lamar Jackson would scoot outside for 10, 15 yards. It was unstoppable. One of the craziest parts of this game was that their second touchdown drive, when they went up 14-0, They ran the ball 13 times. They did not throw the ball in that drive. Between Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, they ran 13 plays from like the 2-yard line on the other side of the field all the way down and scored on all run plays. They did not throw the ball once on that drive. And if you want to tell me anything about this game, tell me that. And that shows what this game was. Complete domination by a team that was frankly just better. And you can say divisional crap all you want. You can say that the divisional games can go either way. But look at this game and tell me this game could have gone any other way. The Ravens could have rested their starters at halftime and still won by 2 scores. That is how bad we played. Lamar Jackson could have gone to Cabo on halftime and come back next week for the game against the Bills. And they would have looked at the score and it would have been like, it would have been 28-7 probably. Their defense would have done better. They were already doing contract decisions in the first half. It was just, it was insane. To think that I could have even remotely been doing cartwheels in the snow for that win is just crazy. Just to show how the season went, I change jerseys every week based on if we win or lose in the jersey. If it's a good jersey, if we win in the jersey, I'll keep wearing it. If we lose, I'll change the jersey. By week 14, I was only on my 3rd jersey because we only lost 3 games. Perfect. Or only 4th jersey. I ran out of jerseys because we lost 5 straight games. I ran out of jerseys of current players. I had to re-wear losing jerseys, which, hey, don't tell me that's why we lost because I've been telling myself that already, so I don't need to hear it from you guys. But I started re-wearing jerseys because that's how bad this team was at the end of the year. We lost 5 straight games. Like, on the Tomlin thing, there's only so much you can blame on the offense and defensive coordinators. We fired Fiechner. We fired Canada. People are calling for firing Arthur Smith. At what point do you look to the higher-ups? Now people are talking about firing Terrell Austin, our defense coordinator, and I'm not saying I'm not behind that. I am. Defense was horrible and just couldn't adjust. They made 0 adjustments throughout the game, and throughout the season, they made 0 adjustments. It looked like we'd come out in the 3rd quarter playing the same way we did in the 1st. It would take us a full quarter each half to adjust. It was ridiculous. I think he should be gone. However, how long do you look at the coordinators before you look to the leader, before you look to Tomlin? Like, I know deep down that the Rooneys are never going to fire Tomlin. It's just the Pittsburgh way. The standard is the standard, so to speak. Pittsburgh does not fire coaches. They just don't. I don't know why. I wish they would, but they don't. However, you have to look at who the problem is. At the end of the day, Tomlin's a great coach when it comes to bringing players in. Players come to Pittsburgh because of Mike Tomlin's name alone. People see that, and they want to come to Pittsburgh because of it. However, at one point, you get to the point where there's too many negatives to outweigh the positives. And I said I wouldn't make this a full Mike Tomlin video, and I'm not going to because I could talk for 15 minutes on that alone. We're already at 15 minutes on this video. However, it does need to be said that seasons like this cannot keep happening. If we just sit down and keep running the same tape back over and over and over again, we're going to be right back here next January talking about a wildcard blowout to the Bills, or maybe the Texans next year, or the Chargers. Who knows? Either way, we're not breaking this losing streak until changes are made. And I'm sorry, Mike, but honestly at this point, I feel like the change is going to be you. Is it going to happen? No. It's going to take a lot more. It might take Tomlin's first losing season to get that change, but until then, there's going to be a lot more of these losing videos. That's going to be all I have for you today, folks. Another sad video. Really, really sick of making these sad videos. I really can't wait to get back to winning ones, but I guess I'll have to wait till September to do that again. But regardless, let's keep watching the playoffs, rooting on Baltimore's downfall, and we'll see what happens. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, night, everybody. Goodbye again from the Steelburgh.